So this is take two. The first time it didn't work because my microphone kind of sucks, but I'm taking a NYX Studio Perfect Photo Rubbing Primer and I'm rubbing it all over my face. I'm not working it into my face. I'm just getting it spread out so I have an even canvas. I've already moisturized and all that fun stuff. Taking my Revlon Color Stay, which is my favorite foundation, putting it on my hand, back of my hand, and I'm using a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I kind of stipple it in, and then I continue to work it into my skin with the brush. We want to work it into the skin, making sure that it's not just sitting on top of the skin, and kind of gives that pixel perfect finish. I'm also going to be going back in with it to cover up my more trouble areas, such as underneath of my eyes, where I have really, really bad blue tones, and around my nose, where I get a lot of redness. Making sure I blend it down onto my neck. I really don't put a lot of foundation on the outside of my face. I work it into the center and blend it outwards so that most of the brightness is concentrated in the center of my face. Taking the NYX HD Loving Photogenic Concealer, dotting it underneath my eyes in a triangle, which will help give any under eye circles a lift. I kind of stipple it in over top of my blemishes and my scars, and that kind of helps spread it out, warm up the product a bit onto my skin. It helps it spread a little bit better. Also, I'll be going back in with it in the corner of my eyes to give it a little bit more coverage. Absolutely love this concealer. It's the only one that I've ever found that matches my skin tone, which is like super, super pale. There I am, going back in, working it into the skin, making sure that I don't look like a vampire. We're being a pinup girl today. Yay! And I had like fuzzies on my face, or I kept thinking I did. That's a Real Techniques. It is the buffing brush. It's kind of flat and very, very dense. Blending everything, rubbing my face because I think there's something on it. The NYX HD Photogenic Studio Powder. It's very finely milled powder. I'm using a Sonia Kashuk powder brush. It does shed a little bit, so I do tend to brush a few hairs off. I haven't washed it yet, which probably isn't very good, but it gets the job done. Now I'm taking MAC's Coppertone. It's actually a blush and a Real Techniques powder brush. When you're doing photo shoots, you need to have some type of color to create definition to your face. If you don't, you probably will be bouncing back a lot of light, especially in this case. And here I've got the Coppertone, and I'm contouring my nose because my nose was broke when I was about 12, and nobody ever told me until I was about 18, so it was a little late before I realized it wasn't exactly straight anymore. Blending in my contour, make sure I don't have any harsh lines. Also, it helps to contour your nose so you have a nose in some of your photos. I actually had a license picture that didn't have a nose, which was real fun to explain to people. I've got Maybelline's Color Tattoo and Barely Branded, taking a MAC 217, and I'm using that as my base. It's a nude color. It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. And putting it in the inner corner of my eyes to open up my eyes a little bit. Taking NYX Pearl Mania in the color Mink. It's a peachy nude. The focus of pinup tends to be the very, very natural looking eyes with the dramatic winged eyeliner and the very red lips. And I'm taking that and applying it all over my lid. It is very shimmery, but it's not overbearing. Got my BH Cosmetics 88 palette, and taking a Sonia Kashuk dual fiber blending brush. I'm taking a dark taupe and a light taupe, starting out with the light taupe, finding my eye socket, which is where the edge of my eye socket ends, finding my crease, which is where my eye socket ends, pardon me, and blending it in, giving my eyes more depth to them instead of just having a blank canvas where it looks like you don't have an eye socket. And going in and touching it up, making sure it's even. Taking a 217 in a skin tone color from my BH Cosmetics palette, and going over the edge of the taupe colors, making sure that I don't have any harsh lines, and making it look more natural instead of looking like I have really dramatic makeup on. taking a Real Techniques Pixel Perfect eyeliner brush, taking the light taupe and bringing it underneath my lower lash line. And there's my legs. Oh, lost my eyeliner and then I found it. This is the Super Skinny marker from NYX. I do use a lot of their products. I've used 2 mirrors to do this. I'm going in and I'm creating my cat eye. I go in and I line right above the lash line, and then I kind of flick it out and kind of fill it in. Another way to do this is to extend your lower lash line and kind of create a triangle and then fill it in. If you guys like, I could do a more in-depth video with it. I found that, actually today I just bought this, that using an eyeliner marker is a lot easier because it's constantly giving an even amount of product, whereas something like a Revlon Color Stay or a Maybelline Line Stiletto, you have to get the product onto the end of the felt tip, which isn't fun. It can make a mess, and whereas this is the fastest I think I've ever done my eyeliner wings or a winged liner. This stuff is pretty budge proof. I kept thinking maybe if I made a little mistake I could, you know, push down on it like my other stuff, but no, it's pretty quick dry. So I'm going to take a gel liner and a pencil, dip the pencil in the gel liner, and I'm going to tightline my upper lash line. This is not something I would recommend doing without your second hand. It takes a lot of practice. That helps emphasize your lashes. And brushing my eyebrows. Everybody says your eyebrows are sisters, not twins. My eyebrows are 2 totally different ethnicities that are probably from 2 different time periods as well. This is my easy eyebrow. It's my preferred eyebrow. It's my favorite one. That's why I got that one pierced. And in this eyebrow, I think it's like I have a bald spot. I don't know if it's because my hair grows differently in that one, but that one's my trouble eyebrow. It always takes me twice as long to do that one than it does the other one. I always make sure that the ends of my eyebrows are darker than the front. You want them to kind of have an ombre effect where they fade into darker, I guess you could say. I don't know why I keep tapping my face. I think it's because something was making me itch. Go in and I clean up, and then I eventually just grabbed my pencil and filled in my bald spot and made it even. Going in, making sure that they're evenly spaced apart. Using my 217 and taking a white eyeshadow, highlighting my brow bones underneath the peaks of my brows. And then I have Maybelline's Mega Plush. This is the mascara that I use first. I wiggle it into the lashes, and I make sure that I get a nice 2 coats on them before I decide to move on to the next mascara that I'll be using. This one helps with thickness and emphasis, and then the Colossal Volume Express, which is what I'm using now, helps to make them longer and give them more of that flirtatious kind of curl to them. I don't curl my lashes like ever. I use the Mega Plush for the bottom. The Colossal Volume is way too watery for that. I do not like it as a lower lash mascara at all. Wiping my hands off from eyeliner, eyeshadows, and all sorts of fun stuff. I'm using a NYX Cream Blush in Boho Chick. It's your standard rosy colored blush. I think it works great for the pinup look. The cream blush, with it being a cream blush, kind of makes my skin glow a little better. I've got a Wet n Wild Fergie Shimmer palette in the color Rose Champagne. I use that as my highlight with a Real Techniques blush brush. It's tapered, so it's got a very defined tip. I do cheeks, in between the eyebrows, nose, Cupid's bow, and around my chin. And you can kind of see how it kind of emphasizes, you know, what I want to be emphasized. I have a lip liner. It's a brownish red. It's Wine from Maybelline. It's number 55. I think that's how they put them on their little stands. I use my pinky as an anchor to make sure that the tip is sharpened, because we want clean lines, especially up at the peak of the lips. If you're a beginner, it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes some practice. I line them. I'd already prepared them with a lip balm beforehand. You fill them in. You can shape them whatever way you want to emphasize. You know, the peaks, make them a little more pointed, which is what I just went in and did. And then I've got red Revival 645. It's a blue toned red. I like blue toned reds better because I have a cool undertone to my skin. And I go in with that, and I apply it over top of the lip liner. That's also Maybelline. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Then I'm taking a Cinecatric flat foundation brush, angle foundation brush, taking a little bit of foundation, making sure the end's flat, and going in and cleaning up the edge of my red. I made a boo-boo. If you mess up with red lipstick, push it in towards your lip. Do not push it out, because you'll have a much bigger mess to clean up. And then go back in, powder it up a little bit, fight with my curtain to make it open again, and we're done.